So coming out of our only sign of playoff relevance was 2021 playoffs, where we lost in the first round to the Atlanta Hawks, where the Hawks proceeded farther over choking in the conference semifinals from the Philadelphia 76ers, making all the way to the conference finals, where they fell short against the future NBA champions. That would be the Milwaukee Bucks. The New York Knicks fall to a 6-game series, coming back after down 3-1 after losing to the Miami Heat in 6-game series, where we've been outplayed, outshot, and outmatched. Now, let's go with a bit of negative, a bit of positive. I've never been so proud of the Knicks, or at least more optimistic for future plans, what's going to happen around the offseason, because we don't know if R.J. Barrett is going to be a trade target, if Julius Randle is still going to be the long-term effect for a dynamic duo. Josh Hart's a must-stay on the team. Mitchell Robinson has some injury hacks that's possibly not going to make him a long-term asset over in the big time. Like, Damian Lillard gotta be an asset. Zach LaVine gotta be an asset, knowing how these guys are getting treated around small market. Karl Anthony Towns. That I feel like there's more trade rumors than over that max contract that's still over in debate for Rudy Gobert. Because Rudy Gobert at least is uplifted the upside for the team, while Towns hasn't been shown to win being the primary option over in a small market franchise like the Minnesota Timberwolves. There could be something to be said about our depth. Emmanuel Quickly, Quentin Grimes has been an upstanding 3-and-D into a great starter. I feel like Derrick Rose got to be let go. We need guys that can actually play whenever they're up on the bench. Evan Fournier needs to be let go for some type of ladder resets like we did when we got rid of some of our role pieces to the Detroit Pistons, so they can receive Jaden Ivey, and we can have enough cap to even proceed to get Jalen Brunson, even though we've been leaked over for tampering. But I am proud, after a mediocre rebound season, to making it back over to the postseason, to make it to the conference semis, but losing to the 8th seed Miami Heat, where they just felt like, even without Jimmy Butler, they were just always pushing us over a close game. That can't be acceptable. We can't be getting outshot. Now, I understand Julius Randle was coming from an ankle sprain. He received around game the last series. Before game 2, he didn't play until game 2. But Caleb Martin, we allowed Gabe Vincent game 1 to drop like 8 threes, 4 for 12 from behind the arc. Kevin Love was spawning to always get up the high top of the arc threes. Jimmy Butler, any matchup that was preceded to Jimmy Butler, barbecue chicken whenever he was on the floor. He even dropped 25 after he sprained over his ankle around game 1 when he dropped 25. And still max efficiency shooting. And I'm sick and tired of the Knicks just being so light in the ass when it comes to defending guys that are good at attacking over the paint when they're obviously not a 3-point shooting team. It's embarrassing. Julius Randle, I don't know what he's going to get. He's not the primary scorer. He doesn't carry out over to the play. And yes, whenever he does catch fire, the Knicks do win. But whenever he's not even the primary scorer on the team, Brunson came over. We survived game 5. Don't forget that. The game that I covered, we barely survived, and we didn't max up over a double-digit lead until the latter part of the third quarter when we were up by 14, and as soon as there was the last 2 minutes left, the Knicks already summed that up to a near 6-point deficit. The Heat could have won Game 5 if they needed to. And we had Quentin Grimes maxing up around 41 points. Brunson was 44 minutes. And don't forget, he dropped 48 minutes. Brunson was 48 minutes of basketball. Quentin Grimes was 48 minutes of basketball. The second fewest minutes even played around rotations, either Mitchell Robinson, that was coming through a bit of a knee injury until the latter part when they thought of hacking him to try to get over to the foul line, and yet he was somewhat consistent. R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, under 40 minutes. 24 points over 35 minutes and only 57% from the field. I don't know if RJ is still going to be a long-term fixture on the team because he's been in the NBA for as long as Zion Williamson being part of the same draft class, and thinking that he'd have quite an upside, being that he's a lottery pick. He has a decent spot-up jumper whenever he's there to shoot up the ball. Obi Toppin needs to upgrade as soon as the offseason comes up. He needs to get some reps in, shoot around the ball and know what he's good at. He's obviously not a shooter. I know he shoots when he's open. He can't play make. He barely has much of a bag when it comes to creating offense for himself. He's good over in the roll. He's good up the lob. But I can't just have dunkers on my team. And we didn't have an array of shooting. And Miami were just sitting Duncan Robinson. He was just out shooting everybody around the team around Game 5. When he was coming up making, and unanswered 16 points in the second half. The second highest scorer on the team next to Jimmy Butler. And then Game 6 was just a travesty. It's like we just gave up. Brunson with another outstanding performance. Julius Randle played 35 minutes, only 10 under the starting point guard over in the team, and he was only a +3, but he was 1 for 3 from behind the arc. What are we doing? 1 for 10 from the field is even worse for RJ Barrett. It's like the guy weren't even trying. They either, whenever they can't shoot, just attack the rim. Whenever they can't shoot, attack the rim. Can't play make, can't move out the ball. If it wasn't for Brunson with a 41-point performance, and guess what? They were still down by 4 and could have won the series if it wasn't for Brunson's bad game-losing handoff pass around the inside up the post. This was still a winnable game for the Knicks, and they overall were the more superior team, and yet Miami just outplayed them again. Don't get me wrong. For what the Miami Heat literally just triumphed through this entire season, literally battle off being a play-in team losing to the Atlanta Hawks, to just upsetting first seed number 1 in the NBA Milwaukee Bucks, and then they just come out of nowhere beating the 5th seeded Knicks and making it to the conference finals as as an 8th seed. And even as let alone play-in team is borderline impressive. And even though whether Sixers or Celtics come out of Game 7 tonight, you guys gotta be proud of how the Heat have actually conducted things. And sure, they were possibly playing over an aging, mediocre Milwaukee Bucks team, while Giannis barely played for majority over the season. Giannis was still the majority scorer of the team. They were just underestimating them. And the Knicks were just underperforming most of the time whenever they can get the ball. They can catch fire, but they can't hold on to fucking leads. And that's been going on for a majority of the regular season if you guys been watching Knicks basketball. There is something we can build over with this Knicks team. But it's either they're too incompetent or too overly reliant on still trying to keep face value with Julius Randle, even though Randle's a good regular season player. RJ Barrett can only do so much as a 3rd or 4th option over in the scoring basis. The best rebounding hustler on the team is motherfucking Josh Hart most of the time. Most of the time, Josh Hart could be the 3rd or 2nd highest scoring rebounder, and he's a point guard. He's a 6th man. Josh Hart, he gotta stay on the team. Because after that 8-0 start after All-Star break, and that hustle and just good playmaking ability he has trying to reap the benefits of the foul calls, Josh Hart got to stay. Isaiah Hartenstein got to go. I don't know how much reliance we're going to have if our starting center can't stay at least halfway through the game or stay healthy most of the time. I feel like there's a higher risk of letting RJ Barrett walk than Mitchell Robinson, in my opinion. Because Mitchell Robinson, he can't stay on the floor. While we have a lack of half of the production that RJ Barrett's capable of, we have half of the health our starting center is capable of. Only dropping only the bare minimum of the bare minimum of 30 minutes around as a starting 5 center. Josh Hart got more playing time than him. Hell, most of the time over the series, Josh Hart led around offensive rebounds more than Mitchell Robinson does. And we couldn't even say that around when he actually picked up the pace in the second half of the series against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Just a bit of a breathing room because I'm still proud. Hell, not a lot of people expected them to even push over in the play-in spot when they came over like 10 games in a row they won, 8 games in a row they won, 7 games in a row they win. Sure, they went over some slumps where they go like 5, like only losing their last 5-10, and then the Knicks just pick up the pace. But a near 50-win season, making it to the conference semis, is a far cry ahead, with also picking up 2 fringe all-star caliber players out of Jalen Brunson that was, I feel like, floundered away from making it to All NBA third or second team, and making an all-star appearance, even though he was the more consistent, competent, and more productive player, and a real reason why the Knicks win, other than Randall's just scoring ability. And borderline, just great leadership around the floor, and willing to even grind over the minutes while still trying to lead over his team. Literally, just look at the win ratio. Look at the win share with Jalen Brunson involved with the squad. That's the highest the Knicks have ever had since Carmelo Anthony back when Woodson's the head coach. 9.5. 9.5. Making it to the conference semis after being first round exits, but at least the Knicks were a competent playoff team when Mike D'Antoni was the head coach. When Woodson was a head coach, and whoever in the hell remembers when Derek Fisher was our head coach and we had the worst basketball I ever watched. And that was coming out of a 37-45 season. So, proud of the Knicks, but I'm also disappointed at the execution. But what are you going to do? There's always next year. Thanks for coming in to watch one of my streams. If you guys were ever available, comment down below if you guys want to see more. I'm going to obviously recap over the offseason that the Knicks are going to have, and further around the playoffs, because we know who's going to be playing in the Western Conference Finals, but we don't know who's going to be playing in the Eastern Conference Finals, involving the Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers. Thanks for watching the DSG show. Like, comment, subscribe, and share for more. I'm going to take my time.